My name is Sean Kavanaugh. I'm a senior consulting engineer here at Cumulus Networks. For this video, we're going to talk about interface ranges. We're going to show Cumulus Linux versus Juniper and how they compare. We're going to show the command line interface, and then of course we're also going to show the rendered config for each operating system. Here I am on a Juniper QFX. On a Juniper QFX, there's a special interface type called interface range. So I'm actually going to go set interfaces, and then we go into a interface type called interface range, and then within here we have a user-defined range. We can call this something like access ports, and I made it all caps so I know it's user-defined. Then there's a special term here called member range, and then I can do something like this where I'm going to take port 5 to port 7, so I can apply the same config. I'm also going to do set interfaces, interface range, access ports, and then I want to make these all layer 2 in case they don't happen to be or it won't let me commit the code. So I'm going to make this ether switching. So it just means this is a layer 2 port, like switch port on Cisco. I'm now going to match what I did on Cumulus and Cisco for BPDU, which is a little bit different. So we go under the protocols subdirectory here, and we do MSTP because that's the type of spanning tree I'm doing, and then I'm going to do BPDU block on edge. And then we got to tie that access port group back into it. So we're actually going to do protocols, MSTP, interface, and then access ports, and then turn them all into edge ports. And then we can do a show compare to show the staged config. So we see that special interface type interface range. That's a layer 2 port for 5 through 7. And then we're going to also set these as edge ports, and then we're going to do the BPDU block on edge, which is the equivalent of BPDU guard. And then I can do a commit to push this configuration live. Here I am on a Cumulus Linux device. I'm going to turn switch ports 11 through 15 into BPDU using the range. So to do a range on Cumulus Linux, we can do a net add interface. Then we do switch port, and I'm going to start with 11. Then we do a dash here. I'm going to do up to 16. We'll just do through 16. And then I'm going to do BPDU guard again. So I do STP BPDU guard. This is stage the config, so I can do a net pending, and I can actually see the stage config in green. This is the config that's changed and what I've added. So I've done that whole range just in one command. And then to push that stage config live, I do a net commit. I can also really easily see with a net show int a high level that it's created 11 through 16. They're not configured, they just have that BPDU guard on them right now. And I can also go and do a net show configuration interface switch port 11, and you can see that each port has the BPDU guard on it now, which makes sense. So let's compare them side by side. With Cumulus Linux, we can just do a net add interface. We can do all 48 ports if we want, STP BPDU guard. And then this is going to render config like this, where it's created an interface stanza for each port. And I've removed a lot of output for brevity. So let's look at interface ranges versus Juniper now. Juniper has this idea of a user-defined value. I just called mine access ports, and then you create a range. And then you go into the protocol and you'll tie it back. So in this case, we did a BPDU block on edge, and then we turn the group I created access ports into an edge group. And then the rendered config is going to look like this. Thank you for listening.